Yeah? Can we do a wave that way? Let's test it. 3, 2, 1. See, the back, it's like you're not listening. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Because I can see you. All the way there at the back, chilling next to the booth. Right, let's do this one more time. We'll do a wave. I know usually it goes this way. But from my field of vision, it looks beautiful. It's like a bowling ball. Right. Shall we try it? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, baby! That's so cool! Okay. Back to the football. I think USA will score first, but I think also that England will win. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. These are just my opinions, someone who knows nothing about football. So shall we go back live to Al Bayt Stadium for England and USA?
It is a sobering, to say the least. Some of the experiences that people talk about in their time include discrimination and sexism as well. And the London Fire Commissioner, Andrew Rowe, has given a statement to say that today is a very sobering day. There's no place for discrimination, harassment and bullying in the brigade. From today, it will be completely clear to all staff what behaviour isn't acceptable and what the consequences will be for that behaviour. He goes on to say, I'm deeply sorry for the harm that has been caused.
So Haji Wright gets the ball rolling in the second half. And the United States certainly having the better of the first. And will they live to regret not converting, particularly that one great opportunity for Weston McKennie. England just fired a few warning shots before the interval, and although it's been a long way from vintage from their point of view, still create opportunities. Here's Pulisic, and Musa's pass now for Robinson. Adams, the US captain. Musa, now Robinson. Declan Rice.
Good start on the front foot. Anthony Robinson in that part of the field where he loves to be. At the top end. Trying to run at Kieran Trippier.
Adams, Robinson. Charged down by Trippier. The US starting in exactly the manner they would wish. McKennie. Robinson. There is Adams, US captain. He was actually voted captain by his teammates. Well, that could be very interesting from Zimmerman. Keeping it lively.
Just keeping you on your toes. Turner had actually drifted out of his goal to offer Zimmerman an angle, but he could just roll it. Unfortunately, the centre half just assumed he was in between the posts.
Never assume ever.
No.
Well, there goes Mount hunting. Rice. I say Declan Rice is really underrated in the air, but it was Harry Maguire who headed it. That's why he looks so good. There's Luke Shaw to take the throw. Sterling. Trippier. Saka available. Robinson high on the ball, counter charge on, led by Pulisic. Wright is there with him. What Shots arriving in the middle, only Pulisic at the moment, although Weah's there. Little cannon for McKennie.
Big chance there. And that all started from that challenge from Anthony Robinson, deep in his own territory, eventually coming out to Haji right here, stepping inside, good block from John Stones. And Weston McKennie doesn't really get that out from under his feet, and in the end, it's underneath it far too much and skies it, but nice press initially, deep in their own territory, and really quick across the ground.
England have not won any of their last 5 World Cup matches when it's been goalless at half-time. Ecuador in 2006 in the round of 16 in Germany was the last time they did. There's a fella in the stadium who we've seen who remembers that well, certainly Mr. David Beckham. Got England over the line. Sterling, but read by Robinson.
Better from Raheem Sterling though. Instantly seeing just that little gap, little window of opportunity, and just darting in there. Good play from Anthony Robinson to deny it.
Yeah, for all his road running in the first game, some of his defensive contributions have been most impressive. Defending and starting attacks. Mount. Tyler Adams. Pulisic. Musa making tracks up the flank. Yunus Musa. Born in New York, his parents from Ghana were actually on holiday visiting relatives at the time. That's how he qualifies to play for the United States. There's plenty of competition for his services. I know Gareth Southgate would like to have him available, but he was part of the England scene up to under 18 level. Coach of the Arsenal Academy was asked, what did you think when you first saw him? He said, wow. I would have said similar about this guy, Saka. Tyler Adams.
What a challenge. Brilliant work out from Tyler Adams. Sensational play. He's just screaming at one or two of his teammates there who just gave the ball away a little cheap on the other side of the field. You don't want Bukayo Saka running at you with plenty of time and space around him, but fantastic work again from Adams there to deny him.
As charge. There's the running power of Timothy Weah, and indeed Luke Shaw demonstrated.
I think very much the message from Gareth Southgate. Come on, he was at half-time. Let's start playing with a bit more authority ourselves. Let's play with a bit more confidence. And it's not easy when you're continually being hunted as they are this evening. But the team in blue, that's a good touch.
But when they go hunting, things like that can happen as players step out of positions. And the space opened up wide, didn't it?
It did. It really did there.
Tim Ream went a-chasing. Well, there's concern over Timothy Weah here. And there'll be concern in equal measure in Liberia, where his father is president, and
it's a clumsy challenge there from Luke Shaw. Rattles Timothy Weah right on the shins, this one. Oof, it's a bad challenge that, you know. Not a good tackle that at all. Luke Shaw, he's gone in a little bit studs up and was always second best, I think, at getting there. Lucky to just get away with that, but the referee sees that as they're coming together. A little bit high, that.
Stan, of course, now president of Liberia, and the football fans of that nation following Timothy Weah and Alphonso Davis of Canada as though they were watching the Liberian team. There were tears in the eyes of plenty when he scored against Wales. Rice to spread it. Shaw. Away from the pressure of McKennie. Kane dropping deep to influence things. Mount. Maguire now to Stones.
All the time you go sideways, you give your opponent a chance to get organised and frustrate you.
There's Trippier. Bellingham making a potentially useful dart in the inside right position there. Shaw. Rice. Stones. Run for Kane, but it'll break kindly for Pulisic. Lost in the crowd, the referee sympathetic to his plight, and a free kick to the United States.
Yeah, at the moment when England are trying to pick the tempo up, I think that's very important to their game. When they're trying to do that, they're just not connecting enough. There was one or two little situations in the first half where they did it, got in behind the US back line. But too often, I think they're going a little bit too sideways and slow with Stones to Maguire, to Rice, to Bellingham and backwards. I think they've got to pick it up a little bit. I'd like to see one or two of them taking people on, going past their opposite number. The minute you start doing that, there's gaps start to appear, opportunities for others happen. Keep going in across the field and in front of opponents, particularly one like this American team that's very well organised, it can frustrate you.
Musa. Yunus Musa finding McKennie. An opportunity for Weah. Situation read well and perfectly indeed by Bellingham. Crucial intervention that.
Again, that's really good play. Once more. From the US, where they go in behind, patient build-up, and then when the chance to play forward and play accurately, they did it very well there.
Just able to shrug off Sterling. And here's Walker Zimmerman. Well, the longer the situation remains like this, the echoes of 1950 may come to mind. The States famously beat England in the World Cup. It's Pulisic. And it is a corner.
Great run. He travels with the ball so well, doesn't he, Pulisic? He really does. His first thought whenever he picks the ball up is, can I travel forward? Can I get across the ground? He does that really well. In the end, it's a block that forces it out for another corner.
Well, don't worry, there hasn't been a goal. That's just a reception for Christian Pulisic as he goes to take a corner where the bulk of the US fans are gathered. The delivery is good, and Zimmerman was charging in. Vital header that by Maguire. Free kick against Musa.
He's lost his man, hasn't he, Zimmerman? It's a big header that from Harry Maguire. Had to put his head on that. Watch Zimmerman on the penalty spot, peeling out round the back. There's a little block, they work it very well, but Maguire stays strong and steadfast and makes sure he keeps his eye firmly on that ball.
Well, there the value of the specialist set-piece coach illustrated, and there's a lot of bumping and barging these days that goes into it.
There's a lot of blocks, they're quite sophisticated, these corners now, the way that they're constructed. That doesn't happen by chance.
Touch of NBA inspiration in there, I'm sure. It's Robinson. And the US are getting on top again.
Again, they're turning England round, they're committing men forward ahead of the ball, they're doing it very well. And their fans just sense this is that moment. Now, in big matches, when you're having the better of it, you've got to make it count. At the moment, they are certainly having the better of it.
It's a threatening one. It's Reeve trying to keep it alive. McKennie beaten to it by Shaw. Good work by Adams there. This is Pulisic. And Harry Kane back there defending, got his timing right, despite the shouts from behind the goal.
Really good corners there. Jordan Pickford doesn't want to come and get them. It's not his strength coming out in a crowd scene and trying to grab it. Not quite big enough for that. He wants to let those centre halves get on with it, but they're coming right in under his bar.
Maguire there again. Good header that by Musa. It's Ream now. Pulisic. High on the ball from England's captain. And Harry Kane hoping to turn defence into attack, but the pressure for the US can build again.
It's that counter press. There it is again. You saw it. Harry Kane won the ball. He's got 3 or 4 blue shirts around him. It's very good play once more. Look, now they pick the ball up. Now they take a collective breather. They get back into their shape, get ready to go again.
Rest in possession. There's Adams playing quarterback. Dest. Musa. Again, Wright just drifting in and out. Now there's a bit of space for Dest to move into. And he now has to come inside. And come inside very effectively. Pulisic might run for Wright. Away finally by Trippier. But there's no valve to release the pressure here for England. They can't get out.
They can't pick that second ball up and hit the US on the counter. Because this guy, in the second half, has been everywhere. Permanently on the move, Tyler Adams, and making sure that he's anticipating, reading, sensing where that ball. It's a great skill that as a midfield player to just sense where that ball's dropping, where it's going to go. Get yourself there to recycle it for your team.
You can't imagine Tyler Adams ever being intimidated by anything. He was asked if England did intimidate him. He said he was more scared of spiders. And so the barrage of set pieces goes on.
I'm sure it'll be the same sort of delivery. Maguire and Stones has done really well in their own 6-yard box to put their head on most of these so far that have come whipping in to that area.
England minds and bodies under strain. US full of confidence and growing belief. And a threatening one again, which left Pickford flapping, but he did get a touch on it.
Just never looks comfortable with those sort of deliveries that are coming at him when there are bodies in and around him, Jordan Pickford. Just not quite sure what's behind him, quite rightly. Just get something on it, knock it away, deal with the next one.
It's a different test, an outswinger now. McKennie didn't quite get the meaningful contact he was searching for. Meaningful contact in the referee's eye on Raheem Sterling from Serginho Dest. And a free kick for England, pressure off. And from their point of view, at last they will say. This is developing into a really, really good US performance, and they need an experienced hand, England, to try and change that. Jordan Henderson discussing matters and his impending involvement, I'm sure, with Gareth Southgate.
I just think Gareth Southgate just wants his team to have more of the ball in the American half of the field. Just not been able to do that. These guys at the back have done this a lot. They've been allowed to do that. That's not a threat to Greg Berhalter's team. When it's served forward, there's always pressure in and around that ball. And so maybe Jordan Henderson can come on and just try and just keep it a little bit. 10-yard passes in American territory. Again there, Mason Mount starting to get frustrated. You start to force things. They're always trying to perhaps look for something a little too intricate, elaborate.
Jack Grealish also getting ready. Impact substitute with a goal against Iran. Bellingham. Harry Kane caught on the hop a little there. And he gets a touch of the ball, and he hasn't had very many. Sterling's involved. It's a good area. Good work again by Weston McKennie.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Gareth Southgate is going to make changes. They're looking a little leggy, one or two of the England players too. So Jack Grealish, great ball carrier, someone that will try and take people on, or at least tease someone out of the hole to create a bit of room for somebody else. Very good at that. And as I mentioned, Jordan Henderson to keep things ticking over better than they have been so far.
Some lovely work there by Robinson again.
Great energy levels from America this evening, really good.
Way up. Musa fooled himself rather than anybody else there. Yunus Musa. Two imminent England substitutes, just taking some fluid on board, and a briefing about their set-piece duties from Paul Nevin, one of the former managers on the England coaching staff, Paul Nevin and Steve Holland, on Gareth Southgate's right-hand men. Both done the top job somewhere. And it's the end of the evening for Raheem Sterling. He will be replaced by Jack Grealish.
Yeah, he couldn't really make anything happen tonight, Raheem Sterling. Looks a little bit tonight like he has done in a Chelsea shirt this season, if I'm being honest. And Jude Bellingham, it looks like, going to make way for Jack Grealish.
Yeah, Bellingham replaced by Jordan Henderson, while Mason Mount is going to take a few pointers on board. Well, what a contrast for Jude Bellingham, star of the show against the Islamic Republic of Iran, but certainly not an imposing figure in this particular contest. Henderson will, if nothing else, be vocal. This is Shaw. England on the offensive. Ream on the defensive. And a solid header. Kane. Harry Kane has had only one touch in the United States penalty area. He's had 3 in his own tonight.
Yeah. He hasn't been able to get on the turn, has he, and try and work Matt Turner, the US goal. He's just trying at the moment, just trying to get hold of the ball and allow people to join in and link with him. And he wants to receive something where he can shift that ball and hit it. He's not been able to do that so far.
Rice. Now Grealish. Different challenge now for Dest, and they dare not touch him here. Have to get their challenges absolutely right. The Grealish train ran out of steam in the end.
Lucky, nearly. He'll do that, Grealish, though. Clearly, he's gone on with that message very much in his mind. Get at people, take them on, back them into the box. That's when he's very dangerous.
Those in white thought that was a soft free kick on Haji Wright. The referee, very conspicuous in fluorescent orange, adamant about his decision. Well, regardless of the outcome, the United States would feel it necessary to beat Iran in the final group game. And they famously lost to in the '98 World Cup. Dest on the charge.
Lucky, he had just released that fraction earlier there. Jorginho Dest, he had Timothy Weah in front of him, ready to receive it. He's just stretched for that, feeling the effects, and maybe a little bit of cramp.
A great intensity from the US, and they're shortly going to make their first edition of Fresh Legs. Brendan Aronson, another with an English connection, plays for Leeds United in the Premier League, is in his kit, although it would seem that he's maybe going to shove a bib on here and how imminent his arrival is, well, is getting ever closer. He came on in the first game against Wales. Just under 20 minutes of the 90 remaining. England are yet to muster an attempt on goal in this second half at the Al Bayt Stadium. Mount. Grealish. Grealish. Refereeing the game himself there.
It's always risky when you do that. Grealish there, it's just a slight bit of contact. But be careful that you don't just stop and the referee doesn't want to blow the whistle.
Busy from Mount, made that angle. This is good football, it's Grealish. And the cut back for Kane. The foot in from Weston McKennie. And Weah. Maguire's there.
Good challenge, Harry Maguire.
Suddenly a sense of something brewing for England. It's Grealish. Henderson. Shaw. Rice. Trippier taking his eye off the ball. It's a collector's item.
Just Declan Rice though, you can see him there in the middle of the screen, just in that holding position now. Grealish, Mount and Jordan Henderson all trying to make those runs further forward. Nothing wrong with mixing up, going a little bit longer now and again as well for England. Haven't really done that.
English voices really quiet for the World Cup finals, and they're trying to lift their team at the moment. Over Weah's head. Adams to McKennie. Pulisic. Crowded out. Rice. Kane making a burst here, but Grealish will bring Mount into proceedings. Shaw's on hand as well. Grealish blocked there by the referee for a moment. Rice. Trippier. Rice again.
Better spell of possession this for England. Well, I just wonder if they're starting to sense that they've weathered a bit of a storm, and are they now going to step forward and come into perhaps the best moment of the game for them?
Shaw to Mount. Saka. Trippier. Saka again. And there's Robinson. Rice got a touch. Maguire. Mount. Kane. Green preventing him from finding that little pocket of space and then firing it against Saka. And he's had a long wait down there, but that at last is the cue for Brendan Aronson to make his entrance here for the United States. Marcus Rashford, who scored within the blink of an eye coming on against Iran, is also imminent for England. So Weston McKennie, who, as I mentioned a little earlier, is just making his way back from injury, has run his race again.
Played very well.
Longer this time.
Played very well tonight. Certainly has worked exceptionally hard. Now we'll see how the dynamic change. Late in a game, there's always more room on the field. No surprises again, you see Marcus Rashford imminent for England. They may feel now that they can start to make better use of perhaps some of the room that will naturally start to appear out here.
That's Shaq Moore, named after the great basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal. He's going to replace Serginho Dest, who we saw struggling a touch. World Cup is certainly at this point not a place for risks of that nature. And that's what they'll be telling him, whether he likes it or not. Well, he had one glimmer of an opportunity in the first half, Bukayo Saka, but he will not be scoring on successive World Cup appearances. Burst of noise for Marcus Rashford, who scored against Iran. It was his first touches in an England shirt since that penalty in the European Championship final at Wembley last year, when England's hopes of claiming a first continental crown evaporated. Pulisic for the United States. Adams. So 2 Leeds United players on the field now. Pulisic.
No, just a little too intricate, wasn't it, there from Christian Pulisic? Lucky he's just trying to thread a 5-yard forward pass there.
He has admitted at times, Pulisic, that he overthinks his game and feels the burden that Greg Berhalter has described as having to carry the team in every moment. He's reassuring him that that responsibility is not totally his. There are others out there to share it. But every match he walks into in a US shirt, he is carrying a huge amount of expectation. And that's some freshness and determination from Moore, but it crossed the line. And so is the little disagreement that's broken out there between him and Jack Grealish. Grealish of Manchester City, Moore of Nashville. Mount. Aronson. Some energetic defending. Pulisic. A bit about this break, it's Weah. Maguire across. Feeling it a little.
Just reached for that one there, didn't he, Harry Maguire? Good defending. Got himself in that gully nice and quick. Just feeling that hip a little bit there.
Here's Moore. Weah. That's a tough nut to crack at this stage of World Cup competition. Lost only one of the last 7 group games. Rice, Grealish, Reed.
Chance there. Turn the ball over in a good area, England there. Good pressure. Tyler Adams, it was probably for the first time tonight. Got his pocket picked, and it was an opportunity with a couple of clever passes that they might have been able to really get at the US back line.
Mount. One way to change the picture. Turned on neatly by Kane to Trippier. Henderson on hand. And that should be Turner's, even with the pressure. Arsenal getting there ahead of Tottenham.
Yep.
As is the case in the Premier League table at the moment.
You've just upset a lot of Tottenham fans there, Dan.
Well, a 10-minute monologue about Jimmy Greaves coming up. Here's Moore. Where? Moore. Aronson. Moore. That was short. Felled by the fullback of the US, and they're introducing a couple of other players with English connections. As Dad looks on, President George, Timothy goes off to be replaced by Gio Reyna, whose father was born in England's northeast in Sunderland, where he plied his trade. He's a very distinguished footballer, also played for Manchester City. And Josh Sargent of Norwich City in England's 2nd tier also comes on with Dad in attendance. Claudio Reyna, who was part of the squad in 3 World Cups, didn't actually get on in one of them.
I think England would like to try and get Marcus Rashford involved a little more than they have up to now. Hasn't really seen it. Well played, Anthony Robinson, very well played.
Well, one thing is for sure, his energy reserves are not going to deplete, but lack of care in possession could cost the United States, and a challenge with a touch of clumsiness to it from Moore on Grealish.
Yeah. It was a straightforward pass that actually for Shaq Moore, and gave the ball away. Can they conjure something up from a free kick? Always, as I mentioned earlier, always look dangerous if the delivery is right.
Well, is there to be more late disappointment for the United States? Shaw's delivery. Tim Ream reading the situation in customary fashion.
He dealt with that very well, actually, Tim Ream. Harry Maguire have made a good run. Try and dart between those blue shirts to get in and around the penalty spot, but Tim Ream watched that all the way and cleared that well.
Yeah, the cult hero of Craven Cottage, the ever-welcoming home of Fulham Football Club, is closing in on a crucial clean sheet. Well, there are niches in World Cup history you want and niches you don't, and England have one that you don't. They have recorded more 0-0 draws than any other team in the World Cup finals, 11.
One thing they haven't done tonight, England, they haven't taken people on, I don't think, enough at the top of the field. I don't recall too many white shirts really running at the blue shirts and going beyond them and dragging somebody else out of position and really stretching them. I think they've always looked like they could cope up to now. We know that there's going to be probably a healthy number of minutes added. I think that's something afterwards that Gareth Southgate will want to look at. I'm sure he'll remind his players that at the top of the field they've got some very clever footballers, some really good players. But they've got to be brave and they've got to look to really take people on.
A team whose name can be heard loud and proud in the Al Bayt Stadium certainly had the edge in terms of attempts, but goalkeepers have not really had to distinguish themselves tonight. Rashford only blew around him, really. But here's Grealish. And now Rashford again. Will he set his sights? Well, there's an attempt on target.
Lucky. Good run from Luke Shaw around him, which gives Marcus Rashford an opportunity there to just try and whip something towards the goal. And again, he might have been able to get a touch, take it out of his feet a little bit more before hitting it.
It's not a scoreline that will be greeted with a rapturous reception in England by any stretch of the imagination, but World Cups are tough.
Yeah.
And they probably needed a game like this, Andy.
I think so. You need a test. You don't want to march through the groups without ever really breaking sweat. Well, they've certainly had to work tonight, England. They really have. But they'll also know on the back of this performance that they've got to find another gear from somewhere in these sort of moments, these tough games where you've got to grind it out.
There's Rayner. Now Maguire to stride forward. Haven't seen that too often tonight. Zimmerman has the matter in hand for the US. Moore. Turner on his travels. That's a good ball. Here's Musa. Pulisic. Aronson. Moore. And the promise fizzles out.
One option there from Shaq Moore. Go across that 6-yard line. He's looking for a cutback. He's made a great run and he's got himself into a good position, but wrong decision.
Perhaps quite the same pace in attack now. Josh Sargent's a very busy player, strong runner. Has an eye for goal, as he's demonstrated for Norwich this season a good deal more than he did last in the exalted climes of the Premier League. Some pressure here, but Ream, cool hand Luke.
Brilliant.
Distinctly disappointed at the order of the free kick, the foul on Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, I think he was struggling there, Jordan Henderson, to find a way out of that particular situation. Might have been clipped a little bit by Pulisic, the side of his leg.
England on with it. Moore is there. Added time, 4 minutes of it. England where they want to be, asking a question. Trippier where he wants to be, over a set piece.
They've had good success in World Cups. From corners with the big guys on the penalty spot, making various runs and trying to block and just create a little yard of space for someone to really go and attack it.
Well, Maguire's in there. He never quite got free. Rattled the crossbar against Iran in the first game, as Christian Pulisic has here. This is Aronson. Well, the US mission statement would have been surely to get something. It doesn't really, unless they get a win in these last few seconds, change too much going into the final game. What it will give them is even more confidence, even more belief. But mistakes like that won't. It was Zimmerman's error. It's Grealish now for England. But well marshalled there by Tyler Adams, the foul there by Musa. And these are free kicks you can't really afford to be giving away if you're the United States.
Small ball from Zimmerman, risking giving the ball away. A couple of minutes left at best now on the clock. Free kicks can really hurt you at this stage, so he'll be very keen, Zimmerman, I'm sure, to get his head on this.
Luke Shaw presiding. Anxiety abounds.
He's going to sneak around that back post, Harry Maguire. He might even creep along the edge of the 18-yard line. Try and dart between those blue shirts. Got to stay onside, of course. Chance. Big chance, that.
And it fell to the right man, Harry Kane.
Made great contact with it, didn't he? Really good ball in that. That for him is a big opportunity. That's a great chance for Harry Kane. got to hit the target from there, and if he had off, he's got real pace on that header, and Matt Turner would have been in serious bother with that.
Well, the man who sets the highest standards in front of goal will be desperately disappointed with that. Matt Turner really relieved. I have to say, it would have been very harsh on the United States if they were to lose this game. Glance at the watch from the referee. And maybe they will have one more chance to win it. It's Reina who's fouled.
A little unnecessary that, I think. To go clattering into Reina there. Because you're right, it looks like Timmery and Zimmerman flying forward. Greg Berhalter just making sure that that back door is firmly shut. He'll take a point. He would have taken a point at the start of the night. But he'd love a decent delivery here to give one of his big guys a chance to go and head it.
Something different up their sleeve. Let's be kind and call that intriguing.
Cannot believe they didn't put that in the box.
Well, the spoils shared, a point apiece, but it's the United States who will emerge with a bigger slab of the credit, that's for sure. Christian Pulisic's shot rattling the bar, the closest call in that first half. United States certainly the better side then. Harry Kane, though, missed a great chance just before the end to win it and seal qualification for England. But that job is still to be done for both sides. It finishes here, England 0, the United States 0.
A result that means it's all still to play for in this group.
FIFA Fan Festival! Zero. See? My predictions were wrong. No need to get upset. But that's it for Group B. You want to know the standings of Group B? England, top of the group, after winning against Iran.